Alrighty, what is going on, my fellow champions of the realm? Today we're going to be doing another coaching video, but today we have our buddy Checkmate with us live. Say hello, say hello.
Hi everyone.
Just one quick thing I wanted to get out the way is that Checkmate actually he did a little bit of editing, not too much crazy stuff, but like as you can see, he just shows me the picks and bans with the little words there. Nothing too crazy, but it's very much appreciated. Anything that you add into the coaching session is always a plus. Alrighty, so looking at the comps real quick, we do have a term Khan, Lex, Damba, and Imani versus double main tank in the Barracanara, Maeve, Victor, and Steris. So, alrighty. What's gonna be really annoying here is that a lot of things are going like the enemy team. They're going to live for a long time. Why? They have double main tank. Main tanks are very good at keeping themselves alive, right? But as well as they have a Ceres. Right now, Ceres is in a spot where she just kind of pocket things forever, whether it's a DPS or tanks, and they just don't die until late game, which is very frustrating. So taking long fights doesn't seem like it's going to be the best option. So what you could do here is you could look for a little more of an aggressive play style. Try and pressure this Ceres out. Don't let her heal for free, and it should make your game a lot easier. So as the term here, playing directly on point. I'm assuming you are the point tank in this comp.
Yes.
All right, so playing directly on point, it's not always going to be the best option. If you can full team aggro in the beginning, just to stir up some things in the backline, maybe get a pick, could be your best course of action. So let's get into the game. All right, so you do have crowd control within 3 of your other champions, so I would probably recommend going Decimation, which you do. You're going to go main. I like the build so far. I don't really run I think I might run Abomination 5 now. I think Abomination is a great card. Same thing with Necromantic Might. Power Slave is also good. But I would like to see probably like, let's say maybe 2-2 if you're going to run this card higher than 1. I feel like Devastation is a really good card. And I feel like you'll see a lot more value from this than you will from this. Because to get, if you have 2 points in this, you always basically get 100 healing from the damage you do with your right clicks, and it'll be multiple because you usually throw multiple stacks out when you do use it. And Devastation doesn't only proc on enemies, it procs on shields. I don't know if it procs on deployables, but um, definitely does proc on shields as well. So, and also when you want to run playing God, you gotta think, are they really gonna shoot your siphon? Because not a lot of good players will like actively shoot your siphon. You got to think, can you force them to hit your siphon based off their champions? Like for example, a dredge makes playing God like that makes that card insane because he can't really control when his bombs blow up. He can only control like where they go and when he throws them. So playing God is absolutely insane against champions that just can't control when the damage is done to your siphon. But the build is pretty decent overall. I like the nimble 2 buy. Don't really see any reason to buy anything else. Your buys this game are definitely going to be nimble. Probably nimble Brazil, and then nimble Brazil. I don't really think you need caught because everybody else should get caught. So nimble Brazil are gonna be definitely your main buy. So maybe Haven, nimble Brazil, Haven, and then your last card will be a filler, whether you need to get caught or master writing, maybe even a morale boost. Alrighty. So if I was the term, I would be trying to figure out where my team is going to be playing. I'd probably play a little bit slow in the beginning, especially since it's ranked. Since I don't know where my team is going, if Imani plays here and everybody pushes right, I might just push right with them and look to fully wrap with them, or I can play underneath and look for the point. Since your Dama should either be high or with you, right? So one good thing that you could start doing as a main tank, especially in ranked, is kind of play like kind of do what the support does. If it's a map where the mid is so strong that you can just go there, you go there. But this is a map where there's so many angles in your Terminus, which Terminus is very weak into a lot of angles. You want to kind of feel out what your team is doing, so that you can play better around them. you don't get caught out early, right? Because a main tank dying early is very, very bad. So you call it to your team where you want to play, so they seem to kind of follow you here. I would have kind of like took a quick look at mid just to see what's going on there. Both tanks go there, nobody stops you. Get a pick on the main. This is huge, right? So that means your DPS are just that much more free. In all reality, you could probably your con's already back there, right? So you could probably head back to the point and you'd be fine. But let's see what you do here. You do see the Victor. Victor's dead. They no longer have any DPS. Everybody should basically turn to the point now. Turn the point. You see what you do here. Walking up to Sarah. Sarah was in Viz. You ignore her. Good job. Walk towards the point. All right. So at this point, you know that the Sarah is probably backed up, or really isn't in the proper LOS for the Inara. So you're able to free swing on her, get as much damage as you can before she starts getting healed. Inara should fall down here. This is a very hard map to zone on. So looking at, you do have 2 down, but the DPS are back up. It shouldn't be too hard for you to take space, but you don't really have to. The biggest thing here is going to be for your team to getting dismounts, and as a term, you're not really good at getting dismounts, so you pushing forward doesn't do much, if that makes any sense. So if you just show the point here, it wouldn't be the worst thing, but if you are going to push up here, I probably would recommend you going up to high ground. A thing you could do is you could stand right here. You can jump out and then jump up, basically, if that makes any sense. So do your normal jump and then shatter, and then you look at the wall and look up and shatter fall onto the high ground. That's one thing you could do there. And now you're on high. That's one thing you could do. Or you could hold under, but I don't really think that you need to zone too hard. If anything, I would have had you probably sit on. If I were you, I would have probably sat on point, and I would have told my Damba to push right so that he could pocket the right lane. And then if they do push through left, you just retreat to right lane if you have to, right? Since term isn't that good of a dismounter. This is a map where like you don't have to zone, or it's really hard to zone at the same time. Because right here, you're just kind of like looking for somebody to see, swing at, and it's just really rough. And at all this time spent, you could have been on the point, and your Damba could have been getting better angles for heals. Now you do have to pull back here. Just pull back to the point. I would siphon your Damba real quick. Make sure he gets out. Siphon, siphon, siphon. You gotta make sure that you're thinking about your teammates a little more there, because those swings are nice and all, but if your Damba dies there, you lose the fight, right? So prioritize getting him out first, and then you can start worrying about doing damage and things of that nature. Worm is a very good enabler slash protector. You want to make sure that you are using your siphon to your best ability to enable and heal for your team. So you don't take too much damage. He's gonna get behind you here. So right there, you got okay. So that's a very good example of. So when you're swinging, right? You every time you swing, it's about a second delay before you can put your siphon up, right? So every time you swing, you're opening yourself up to damage, right? You got to make sure that you're not swinging too much, because if you do, obviously you're going to lose a lot of health. And then another thing is when you get put in a position to where you're siphoning, right? And you have these 2 in front of you and this one in front of you, right? You have to think, whose damage is more important that I block here to stay alive? Nara, if she hits all 3 pellets, which not all of Nara's will, but some will, right? That's about 600 damage, right? But if Victor hits a burst on you and Saris hits you with 3 orbs, that's about like over 1,000 damage, right? So these guys, they will quickly burn you. The Inara will have to hit about 3 shots, right? And within those 3 shots, I feel like you would probably get a Damba heal, or somebody would shoot at the Inara to force her to back off there. So right here is going to be a decision in which, am I going to take 600 damage or am I going to take 1,200 damage, for example, right? So you got to think about that very quickly, and your siphon should stay on them, because the Inara, if the Inara kills you, at the end of the day, you were going to die no matter what, you know? But if you turn your siphon to the Inara, you're opening yourself up to more damage. Right here, you're really low. So right here, you are getting hit by a ward. She won't kill you with 1 burst, but they will. So, and the second you drop it, they kill you. And I think Damba was there. He probably could have got a few heals into you. Or even stun the Inara. Coming back here. Oop, got a little stuck. Should probably head straight to the point here. make sure when you were playing, right, you did see that all your team was playing left side, right? So you do not want to retreat to right side, right? And you don't want to give right side too many angles. So if I'm you, I'm probably playing about over here, right? And then I'm siphoning like this to block his sight. Not only will it block his shots on me, but anybody that's right here. And then if I need to retreat, I just go into Corey, right? So make sure that you do not retreat here. You want to be heading this way, if anything. That's one mistake that I used to make all the time, just because I thought it was safer in the moment, and then people would push over here, and then somebody would be here, and then this cross here is just it's so dangerous, especially if you're a slow main tank. So yeah, so right there, I would be hugging a little bit closer because you could have blocked that nade, right? And that's just less ult charge for him. And then when he does pop his ult, don't hold your siphon up. I would say just try to bait him to look at you. And then the second he pops it on you, you just look at the ground with your siphon and you eat the charges for free. Yeah, right. So like right there, as you can see, since you're not playing here, he's getting LOS into your backline, right? And he's getting shots off with his ult, and he's getting nades in there, right? So like I said, by you playing right here on this side of the point, you just make yourself a target. As a main tank, sometimes, and it seems counterproductive because you want to like dodge shots and things like that. But sometimes you want to make yourself the target, right? Because if they're looking at you, that means they're not looking at your team. And for the most part, main tanks are better at surviving than squishies and off tanks. You know, you want to make yourself you want to make yourself seem like you're a good target to attack, and then at the last second, you want to pop your abilities, and it's like, oh, never mind, I can't kill this. So right there, you just had to you just had to step off for a bit. And I know there was it was they were close to capping, but don't be afraid to step off for a bit, especially when you know overtime is going to proc, right? Keep yourself alive and then retouch. All right. So okay, this is very aggressive, and you're going to die here. But you can, since you do have a lot of time left, I would say I would honestly I would just pop my ult, right, and then create a pinch between my team and their team, right? So even though I don't think this play is the smartest play, I think you can still get value out of it. Um, but yeah, if you pop your ult here, then I understand this. If you don't, it was a feat. But I probably would have played underneath, right? If anything, make sure nobody sneaks under and let my con play here. I just play high and just chill. You do die here. I would res this. There you go. Good job. So now you're back alive. They wasted resources on you, and now you're behind them. So right here at this point in time, go ahead. Or was that the game? It was the guy in the game. But so since you res here, sadly your Lex dies, unfortunate. But three people turn for you, right? So this creates an opportunity for your team to get a pick on somebody who either doesn't turn or one of the squishies who turn, right? So that res, even though you died there, ended up getting a lot of value in the sense of you pulling a lot of attention to yourself. And now it's up to your team to basically make a play off of the pressure that you created. You got to live here. You got to live as long as you can. Remember, you're running Abomination 5, right? So Siphon Reset is going to be your primary focus when it comes to using your charges here. I would rather prefer you to wait till your siphon is low, and then look for them big bursts or look for confirmed like siphon recharge, than to just throw it out whenever. Because let's say you were low and you just threw it and missed, now you have no siphon and now you're basically dead. Right. Using natural cover is very important. Right here, you don't need to be siphoning. Siphon here is a good siphon. Should give you guaranteed charges. If you siphon the Sarasol, it won't pull you. I'm pretty sure it won't pull your teammate either if you siphon it properly. Yeah. So keep in mind that like right now, you are using the weakest part of Term's kit, right? And it's his axe, right? So like you're looking for a lot of like axe opportunities, right? And that's the weakest part of his kit. And that's why you're getting punished a lot and you're taking a lot of damage because of basically your mindset when you're playing Term, right? So your mindset should really be like Siphon, Calamity. I'll just put Cal and then Axe, right? So you should be looking for Siphon plays, then Calamity plays, then Axe plays, right? Axe plays are like it's so risky that when you go for them, it just opens you up for so much damage, right? So you really don't want to be looking for them too often. Or you want to get a swing in or two whenever you can, but I promise you, you will get so much damage from your Calamity charges. It's crazy. Like when you're not full charged and you just just using a charge whenever. I'd siphon your con. Oh, you got walled off. No. Don't chase. Don't chase. Don't chase. Don't chase. Hope she died anyways. Good. As long as you didn't chase her outside of the doorway, I'd have been okay. But you're gonna run into the Victor here. Unfortunate. Yeah. So you just went a little too far there. So you went Nimble Rejuve there. I probably would have went Brazil. Reasoning for that is every time Mave ults, you can't see, and you have no way of cleansing that with any of your abilities, right? So it's like being able to see as a main tank is very important, especially when they have a Mave. You know, if they take away if you close your eyes and try to play the game, it's hard, right? So you definitely don't want to be in Mave ult any longer than you have to be. And if you have any like questions or if you have anything you want to say, don't be you could just let me know to pause it and ask away. By the way.
Okay, thanks.
I'm pretty sure that if you stay in that doorway, you can contest the cart. So that's a little place that you can kind of like hide for a bit. You need to. Your money is down. I gotta be careful because you are down 1 DPS and you're walking in here. You're at 80%. You should build your ult anyway. So this aggressive play right here is actually really dangerous. The Victor looks at you. All right, so you do back out. I back out here. Ooh. Yeah. I just hug the corner if anything. Maeve's behind you. Mute yourself from the audio. But you do die. Do not res. It's not worth. You will get a retouch no matter what. The card is way too far. The Inara should die here no matter what, and as well. Bam! Well, he didn't kill her? Unfortunate. Ceres dies here. That should be no heals. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Cat and mouse over there. Right here, focus the Inara, because Ceres is not able to heal her because of the pressure that's been being applied to her. Alrighty, so
Lex, please go with Khan. Try to kill Victor and Ceres.
alright, so you delegating your teammates, which is really good. You always, if you do see an opportunity for them, obviously saying it in a calm manner and asking them nicely is always the way to go. You don't want to try to bully your teammates into doing things. It just makes the game a lot harder.
Yes,
Capture point spawning
So,
in
yeah.
15 seconds.
You are sending Lex with him, so you might not actually need to follow them. Or if anything, what you can do is you all go left and the tanks ignore you again. You can just jump straight onto their high ground, and then when the Khan and Lex wrap, they either have to. Usually, you'll scare them away with you jumping on them, and then they'll just run straight into the Khan Lex. So you can either look for a play like that, or you can play passive again. I don't know if the Maeve has ult, but if she does, you jumping up there could be really risky because you'll get lost, basically, in the sense of you won't know where anyone's at.
5, 4,
Let's
3,
go left
2,
because we're comms.
1. You do have ult here. Pretty good. Eric's there, Nar's there. They do let you go through though. They do Mave ult so you can't see. Damba does fear. Victor jumps down there. Right there, all you need to do is call that out if you can. Like, hey, Lex, Victor is going towards fire. He might try and take our high, right? So you can be aware of that. Right, just try to live as long as you can. You can block her ult with your body. And if you can prevent your team from getting stunned by standing in front of her, that is very huge. You did wrap this way when she started casting it, so it was kind of hard to get back. But just a future note: if you can block Anar's ult with your body, and then with certain shields. I don't think Koa ult. I think Koa shield can block him. Maybe I'm not sure. But definitely Barrack. Barrack shield can definitely block her ult. But yeah, if you're able to block it from hitting your back line, and you have ult, right? So if you die, it doesn't really matter because you just res. But if they get stunned and then they get finished, it does matter because they don't have obviously a res. He does end up using it you on no. Oh, you do live here. I would just siphon your Damba right now. Oh, he's gonna get on, I think. I would honestly, instead of chasing him, I would have just sat on point for a bit and then got off. Because at this point in time, your Damba's gonna be dead for 9 seconds, and you need to live, right? So you're gonna come back on point, and you're gonna have at minimum 3 people looking at you. And once you could have sat on point, sat on point, sat on point, he comes to get back on, and then you just leave, right? And then you just sit like here. And if anything pushes you, you siphon, siphon, siphon. Your team should peel for you. And if not, they don't come for you, and then you should get a free retouch, right? But if you do die here and you don't res, you're gonna have to mount back, and they're gonna get a lot of cap, and it's gonna be really rough, right? So, like I said, everybody's looking at you, and that fire's gonna kill you. Unfortunate. Your Damba isn't back yet, so even though this res is decent in the sense that you're back alive, you don't have a healer right now. And then you are very low again. Oh, you're so low. So yeah, I would have definitely got off a little earlier because then you could have played a little bit more around your team, giving your Damba a chance to get back. Or before any of that, you could have left with your Damba, right, to make sure that you could escort him out with your Siphon, right? Those are 2 options that you could have taken. The escorting your Damba out might have been the best bet because then he wouldn't have gotten staggered. But even with that, with him getting staggered, your best option would have been sit on point for a bit, Barrack gets off, whatever, and then you get off, and then you come back in with your team at the same time. You should have time.
Kill Victor, please.
So right here, if I were you, I'd be communicating, hey, I might not have first touch. Somebody be ready to touch just in case. You do get first touch, you can call it off now. This is there. If people are down, it was high up. But they're still kind of pushed up here, so I wouldn't leave. Oh.
Barrack spin off this spinner side.
Bought the bear, which is good. Next, gets a pick, man. That's unfortunate. So you should get overtime here, so you don't feel too pressure on the touching right now. I say make sure you're preserving your life. Big fear on the Inara. Swing, 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 swing. Siphon.
Overtime? More like overtime.
Nice, good shots. Siphon. There you go, good job. Alright, sitting on point here is fine. You don't have to do much. Anything you let your teammates do the work here. I think you could do here is you could run at the Victor when he does ult there. You could just jump at him, and if you're right in front of the Victor, he can't ult. It's just something with the targeter. Even if he looks down, he just can't ult you. You're just blocking too much of his LOS. So that's one thing you could do if he does ult like that when you're super close. But he does
You
cancel
mean
it.
if like right on his face?
Yeah, like if you jump up and you can get like right here, he can't ult you.
Mhm.
It's some weird thing with the targeter. It can't target anything that close. So if you get right there and you're just swinging on him, he can't ult you. That's why, as a tank, sometimes if you see a Victor ulting, if you do have the choice and it's the right play to get on top of Victor, it's huge because he just has to cancel his ult, and then you can just back up.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. In a minute 30, you should be able to get your ult close enough. I think Term's ult is actually one of the slower charging ults. It was a little hard to say that you would get it back within minute 30 unless you're like doing damage the whole time. But you do get a kill here. You're at 10%. Right here, you can look to force out the Victor, at least make him look at you. So this is actually not a bad play here. You don't have to super hard chase, but you do. You actually might result in a kill, but then again, Saris, unfortunate. Any other subordinate Saris, you actually might kill him there. Oh, you still kill him though, because Saris went the wrong way. Nice. So right here, in all reality, there's an Inara here and there's a Maeve there. Your teammates should kind of be able to. They should be able to handle this on their own. You won't be able to really impact on the Maeve as much, right? And I think Barrack's just respawning, right? So if I'm you here, I'm probably looking to swing on the Barrack and just be annoying to him when he comes out of spawn. The Nara dies there anyways, right? But now it's he's already there. Okay, cool. I wouldn't chase too hard. I'd play around the point here. Yeah, I would force them to come to you because at the end of the day, if they come to you, you could just siphon your teammates, you know? You don't have to chase too hard. Dubai Master Riding. I would have bought Brazil. So you are, what did you buy? Yeah. You bought Nimble, which I think is good. You bought Rejuve instead of Brazil. Getting a healed extra is always nice, but also seeing, you know, is a little bit better, right? I definitely do recommend the Brazil over the Rejuve. Rejuve's not a bad buy. Brazil's just way too strong. It'll stop the stun. It'll make the pool not last as long, as well as it will make you be able to see when midnight is up. Master Riding is nice and all right, but you're buying MR2, and none of them have MR2, and you really don't need to beat anybody to the point or beat anybody somewhere, in my opinion. Here, I feel like if you are gonna buy MR, you could have probably bought MR1 and left it at that until you saw an MR2 come online from them. But other than that, yeah, this is I would say would be the big change. You'd probably be a little bit better off. New writing.
Capture point spawning in 15 seconds.
Left again, guys.
You do want to go left again, which I think is okay. A controlling quarry, especially against the Victor, is always nice because you want to be able to have an area where he can't get angles on you.
2, 1.
You do not have ult, right? So you need to keep in mind that you can't you can't take too much damage because you don't want to die right away, right? You want to give yourself enough time to be able to build up your ult, as well as allow the game to kind of flow. But also keep in mind that they do have double comeback, so you don't want to just give them too much free cap, right? If you lose this cap, it's not a big deal, right? But you don't want to lose it because you're dead, right? So play to live most of the time. Try to build your ult. Let your teammates use their ults, right? And if you're gonna win this, it's probably gonna be like a long fight or a very quick one. You do go here. Understand that this play is really risky because of the fact that they have double comeback. So if they're smart, they're just gonna send a tank straight to point, and they're gonna put you on a timer. And basically, what they say by doing that is, we're gonna cap, so you can do whatever you want, and as long as their backline does a good job of kiting you, making you guys take along when it comes to chasing them down, they're gonna get a lot of cap. Always keep that in mind. When there's double comeback on the board, enemy tank should be looking to go straight to point. You're on the Victo, so it's actually good to zone him out. Doesn't matter if you can't see because you're so close to him. Right click, he's one. He should die here. 3, 2, 1. Good aim. Let's go. That push ended up working out really well. Your team ended up push with you. So the scary thing about that push that you did there, it worked. You did get the pick right. But if Saris is back there, you don't kill him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, especially since you have no caught. That play was really good, but it could be really bad at the same time, depending on if their healer is playing correctly. So always keep that in mind when you do go up there. If you see Saris, you can't make that play. You just absolutely cannot. So your best bet would be since you're already back here, and if you have teammates that are already here, you don't need to back up. What I would do if I were you is I would just sit on the high ground, and I would kind of just deny the Victor from free peeking, if that makes sense. You don't got to damage him. But every time he wants to peek, you're just putting Siphon in front of him, right? You're cutting off angles. You're just making him think about you all the time. Even though you're not hitting him, you're preventing him from hitting your team and getting value that way.
Please go out dismount. Next, please go with him. Even Imani, please go. If we capture this, we win.
Right, so you sitting on the point here. Actually, like that, you sitting on the point. Khan needs to make sure he doesn't die here. That is the
Here,
biggest
Khan, here, Khan.
fear. So that your team has ults, but they're not using it. You just do step off there. So like you step off there, right? And it's like you're at 87. You would have been at 90 if you would have just stayed on, right? And it doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but every percent counts because every percent you get, it's like a mental game. If I'm a main tank and I see 87, I'm not worried. I know that I can touch point. But if I see like 90 to like 96, I'm like, like it's just that little bit of like if I don't get on right now, I'm gonna lose, right? So just stay on. You got to be patient because even though you would have got that kill no matter what, in my opinion, I would have just been a little bit more patient there. Big fear on the Maeve. Oh, Maeve lives. It's okay. Now you stay on point. No matter what you do, you just stay on. Stay. Swing. It's okay. Keep swinging. You have ult. It doesn't matter. Just keep swinging. It's okay. Swing at something. Res. Bam. Oh, Barrack's back with Dome. Money's ulting. I'd put back for your money. Look for your money here. They have no cap, right? Look for your money and siphon her. If she's close, you want to make sure she does not die here. You want to make sure she gets that dragon off. Oh, she dies though. No. That the dragon wins you the game. Unfortunate. You might get time, especially with the MR. Oh, people are still getting trades. Kana's gonna buy you a little bit of time here. Sarah should die here. Nice. So you should get back here. You come straight to point. So right here, when you're coming back or when you're dead, the thing you could be doing is you could kind of be like telling them like, hey, like you could be in voice chat, even though you're dead and you can't physically do something, you can verbally help your team. So you could be like, hey, like who are we focusing? Who has to die? Who has to die? Right? Get your teammates thinking, right, and get them like basically you want to try to like get them to focus on one thing, because that'll increase your chances of winning, right? So instead of everybody doing their own thing, get them to focus on one goal. Like, hey, like what are we doing? What are we shooting at? Who needs to die, right? And doing things like that when you're dead are very important because it will even though you're dead and can't impact the game, like I said, physically, you can impact it verbally and basically become like a little leader. But you are back. Your team actually does a really good job of holding on there. But yeah, wasn't too bad of a game. I feel like the biggest problems of this game, for one, I loved your ults. A lot of terms they ult really badly. A lot of your ults were just because you're dying, but at the end of the day, that's kind of the point of your ult, right? You want to make sure you're not really feeding too much and then popping your ult. Um, unless it's like a really good that's what you want to do. Like you want to get into their backline, you want them to turn, die, and then you want to ult to create space. Unless you're doing that, that's a little different. But sometimes I feel like you kind of put yourself in bad positions and we're forced to ult. Being aware of your teammates, right, so that you can siphon them a little more. For example, the one time you could have siphoned the Damba out, right, and reset with him. Right there, the second you hear Amani ult, and you have 90% cap, and they have 5, you instantly look for Amani so you can siphon her, right? Because if she doesn't die, the dragon literally kills everyone, right? Because they're gonna panic, and when the dragon's this close, it's so hard to burn that they're gonna look for Amani, and they were already kind of in here. So you need to get on her and siphon her, like literally siphon her, run on a siphon, body block, it doesn't matter, but like you need to basically ensure that she gets a good amount of damage off for her dragon, because it's a very, very, very strong ult, but it's very high risk, high reward. In my opinion, as well, this is one of the terms worst maps in the sense of obviously like if you die to an environmental, you can't res, as well as there's just so many angles in terms of struggles when teams are just able to just take angles for free. So with that being said, I think you did a really good job. In the beginning, you were zoning up, but I think you realized, or at least your team went up before you, so you didn't have to realize that just sometimes sitting on the point, especially in this map, is really good. And then your team kind of do the zoning for you, and you can just chill back. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I noticed that Khan was playing a bit passive. So maybe this is one of the reasons why I maybe pushed more. Was it a good play or?
So, I mean, I feel like he played passive. He could have probably played a little bit more aggro, so you didn't have to. But noticing that he played a little more passive here, and you kind of took the opportunity to take space there. wasn't a bad thing. Especially since Khan is at one of those tanks where like if he needs to get on the point, if your off tank needs to get on the point, Khan's one of the best off tanks to get on there, right? So
Yeah.
I feel like as long as your team is like as long as he understands that when you're going in, he plays back, right? That's fine. I feel like you did a good job pressuring out their backline. And as a term, if there are chances for you to get aggro like that, I always kind of like think it's a great idea because as a term, as a tank, I like to go and do stuff. I don't always like to just sit there and just kind of just feel like a point bot. If there's an opportunity for you to be aggressive and create a play, I always like that. So I definitely think that since Khan was playing a little bit slower, you bringing up the tempo in the off lane was a good thing.
Yep. That's all.
That's all. So, oh yeah, and another thing too is your buys, right? So you got to really, really think of what they have, right, and what counters you in a sense, right? Angles and stuns are going to be your biggest issue this game. So you don't want to not buy Rezil, right? Being able to see is very important. Being able to get up after a stun very quickly so you can put your siphon back up, as well as move around, is very important. As well as if Ceres pulls you, you don't want to be out of position for too long, right? So I feel like your one mistake when it came to buys was going to be not buying Rezil. And I would say Haven because Haven just makes you tankier against their whole team because they're all direct damage. But the biggest mistake was no Rezil, in my opinion.
Yeah. One last thing. Does Siphon block Cirrus alt or no?
Yes. So if Ceres goes to ult and if it hits your siphon, it'll immediately drop. As well as if you put siphon over it, it can't pull people in. But if it does and you're siphoning it, it'll pull them into your siphon anyways. So you will kind of soft counter it in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with all that being said, man, I think you played a really good game. I felt like even though the map wasn't in your favor, you still found ways to make plays, whether it was aggressive or on the point. And yeah, for everybody that's watching, if you guys want to have a game reviewed, you can hit me up on Discord at Apache #2456, or you can leave your match ID or unlisted video links in the comments down below, or just video links in general. And yeah, if you liked the video, make sure you like it. And if you want to keep up to date with me and my channel, man, hit the subscribe button. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.